Welcome to TOMMO'S Race CHINWAG, your favourite Formula 1 podcast produced by a British biased bloke with a massive Swede full of very questionable wheel knowledge. Broadcast live on YouTube and after the fact on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have a good old natter about each and every Grand Prix of the season. My name's Tommo, let's talk about it. Here we are, welcome back to the stream. The podcast TOMMO'S Race CHINWAG is live. My name is Tommo and we are going to talk all about the 2025 Sao Paulo Brazilian Grand Prix, whatever you want to call it, a sprint weekend, round 21 of the 2025 Formula 1 World Championship with three drivers in contention. George, I think, still mathematically, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, in the live chat to all you here on live on YouTube. Thank you for joining me, Jay, Daniel, Dino, Josh, Pablo, Priest, Thu, Crizzy, Helita, Mandia, Simbru, Hanabiko, Brick, Tina, Bo, Helita, Nico, King of Iron, Maximilian, Brian, Peepo, David, AJ, and the rest of you. It is a pleasure as always. And to all of you who don't watch this live, can't necessarily catch these lives, it's all good. Whenever, wherever, however you are watching this, I do thank you for taking the time. Shall we get into it with my brightly coloured, fluorescent, different changing colours background, because I still can't work out how to just turn my light to red because I lost the remote. So you either get no colour or you get lots of different colours, and I'm doing lots of different colours because why not? But if you're audio only, it doesn't even matter. I digress. Shall we talk a little bit about Brazil? A unbelievable circuit. I'm not even going to bother polling you lot to say, oh, is Interlagos any good? Of course it's good. Of course it is a certified banger, and a sprint weekend means we get two races. This is one of those tracks where surely even the biggest anti-sprint Pete person out there looks at Interlagos and thinks, yeah, but we get two races. That's kind of cool. And it worked a treat last year because we got a dry sprint race on the Saturday and a wet Grand Prix race on the Sunday, whenever it goes that way. I remember when I went to Austria a couple of years ago, it was wet on the Saturday and then I'm pretty sure it was dry on the Sunday race. And that's always a cool dynamic. The teams are learning a bit less that they can carry over as well. Obviously, the cars open up, they come out of, what's the word for it, Parc Ferme. There you go, almost completely had a mind blank for that one. Come out of Parc Ferme between the sprint and the main race, which means you can change your car, you can improve it. It's not as much of a carbon copy as it was at the start. Look, the sprint format still isn't perfect, but if it's giving us essentially double the fun around Interlagos, hopefully double the fun around Interlagos this year, then I'll take it. Shambolic, there's no sprint there in 2026. David, don't remind me. But we take it while it's here, okay? And look, eventually the whole calendar will be sprints. I'm absolutely sure of it. If I'm still doing this job in 10 years' time talking to you about Formula 1 on this YouTube channel, then I'm sure it will be. I reckon in 10 years, do you reckon the whole calendar? Maybe not. It will at least be half the calendar, I think, in 10 years' time. Because the promoters seem to want it for the tracks. It drives more revenue, more ticket sales. And again, look, I've said this before, as a fan experience, I think you get more value for your money going to a sprint weekend. However, if they increase the cost, then you kind of lose out on that balance, right? It's not like F1 races are priced equally across the world, are they? They vary massively. Singapore over Interlagos sprint is wild. You couldn't be more correct, Sushi. As much as I love Singapore as a place, as a culture, it's an amazing place to visit. I'd love to see that race under the lights, but that one is not built for a sprint weekend at all. Okay, please no. But that's just the way it is, isn't it? That is just the way it is. It will rain, Renan. Do you reckon it will rain? Well, if it's anything like last year, on Sunday anyway, when it rains, it pours around Interlagos, doesn't it? So let's have a little look at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo in Brazil. 4.31 kilometers, 71 laps, almost the exact same length of lap as Mexico and the exact same number of laps, 71. C2, C3, C4 tyres this time out, bang in the middle of the compound range, no split between compounds this time out in Brazil. And the weather, I mean, I just took this from Google. Friday, 20 highs of 24, lows of 16. Pretty overcast. Saturday could be a bit of thunder. 27, 15. Sunday, 19, 14. A little bit chillier on Sunday and possible rain. There's possible rain across all 3 days, to be fair. And that's the kind of unpredictability that so often generates a certified banger around Interlagos. And of course, we do have 3 different quali. We don't have 3 different quali sessions. We have 2 different quali sessions, but we have competitive sessions across all 3 days. It's what I was trying to say, because you have sprint quali on the Friday, main quali on the Saturday. Thank you, Assam, for the super chat. Quali on a Sunday because of the weather. Possibly, if that's what they need to do. If they can't, for whatever reason, do qualifying on Saturday after the sprint race. The sprint race starts at 2 p.m. UK time, and I think sprint quali starts at maybe 6 p.m. UK time. I think maybe, or 6 or 7. So there's a good 4 or 5 hours between the two. And yeah, for whatever reason, if they can't do that on Saturday, they might have to do it on Sunday. We'll see. They'll have their systems in place. They will react accordingly, depending on how things go. 6, is it 6, 7? There you go. 6, 7. I wondered who would pick up on that one. Well done, everyone. Well done. But what about last time? What are them two doing on the podium? Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon. I'll tell you what, the chance of Alpine having a bang around here again seems... they have absolutely fallen off a cliff, have Alpine. Their performance is clearly nowhere. They know that there's not a constructors fight, challenge to fight, right? That battle for P6 between Aston Martin, between Haas, between Racing Bulls, and between Sauber is very close. That's going to go down to the line, but Alpine are nowhere near it yet. They got a double podium 12 months ago. Kind of crazy that they managed it, but it was one of those where you rolled the dice. Esteban and Pierre and Max, who staged an incredible recovery drive, made the gamble, stayed out. Russell and Norris decided to pit. Then the red flag came out and they got hurt because of it. And then Max just dominated the race in the end. He won by an absolute margin. I can't even remember how big the gap was up front, but I know it was blooming massive. And the Alpine boys held on to P2, P3. Great vibes for Enstone. And I feel so much for the staff at Enstone, because that team's been through the ringer. Please, Mercedes, give them a good engine. Just even... if you have to, give them the slightly better engine, right? Of all the teams you're supplying, just give Alpine a slightly better engine than the rest, so that they're not absolutely dire next year, okay? Because they can build a chassis. You know what? David Sanchez, heading up the technical team at Alpine, they can deliver something decent. I'm sure of it. And they've been held back by their PU for years. Now it's time for Alpine to shine. Will it even be called Alpine? Probably not. But there you go. Thank you, Daniel, for the super chat. Hi, Simon, just saying thank you for what you do. Thank you, Daniel, for supporting what I do as well. Without you and without every single one of you watching, I couldn't have this insane career that I do. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you all very kindly. I'm so excited for this Grand Prix. Not just because of it being Interlagos, though, because this championship is hanging by a thread, isn't it? It is anyone's game, really, when you think about it. Starting with the quali head-to-head, a brief little overview if you're interested. Verstappen's the biggest gap, of course, on average, to Tsunoda. The smallest gap on average in qualifying this season is between our two championship leaders, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Slight advantage, Oscar. Lando's clawed it back big time in recent weekends. Piastri had the measure of Lando on average by about a tenth for most of this season, but Lando's done some serious work to close that gap. Is that Lando stepping up? Is that Oscar standing down? Depends, I guess, on your perspective. What on the disco is going on here, Han? Well, yeah, I mean, if you can find the remote, then... but I'm not even going to look. I'm not even going to... While we're in between houses like we are right now, I'm not even going to entertain trying to find the remote to this blooming light, because I'll just get annoyed, and I don't want that. So you're just getting disco background, okay? You take the disco vibes, absolutely. Minton's mum. Yeah, Minton's a kid, of course he is. He's always... We need to take him for a walk after, by the way, Han, because we took him for one this morning, but we need to take him for another one. We need to take him for another little W. So that's the quali gap. This is the Trick Driver Championship gap. Lando Norris now leads by a point over Oscar Piastri. 357 to 356. Then Max Verstappen, 321. So Max is 36 points behind Lando Norris, 35 points behind Oscar Piastri. This is a sprint weekend, so if you can win both, that's 33 points on the board. 25 for the Grand Prix, 8 for the sprint. Look, if it rains, you've got to put your money on Max. He made himself look a class above 12 months ago. Maybe. I want to see a title fight go down to the line. And I was fully expecting it to be a 2-horse race, as we all were. Of course, like, don't pretend early on in the season, oh yeah, Max is going to come back and win it. No one thought this was going to happen. We could get a 3-horse race going into Abu Dhabi, which would be insane. But we will see. He's not going. Hannah, I reckon if come on, you say the word walk, he knows. If you say walkies, he loves it. Actually, he probably can hear that, right? If I said it loud, he could probably hear it. But no, that would trigger him. Then he'd be running around downstairs trying to get up here. And as much as I'm sure the people would love that, a bit harsh on him. But yeah, the driver standings are so that's the only one that really matters. Colapinto, can he get a point on the board this season? I think he deserves. I think he merits something, actually. I think he's stepped up quite well relative to Pierre Gasly. I've talked about this in my video that I did last week before last, whenever it was. So I think Franco deserves a point. And of course, home Grand Prix for Gabriel Bortoleto. First Brazilian full-time driver since Felipe Massa. And the vibes will be exceptional. The boy from Sao Paulo at his home Grand Prix. Love to see it. I hope he gets a decent result around here. And I'm sure his presence will be very, very well received. And also, this is as close as, geographically speaking anyway, as Franco's going to get to a home race himself. So I'm sure there'll be a substantial Argentinian contingent at this Grand Prix, which will be a vibe as well. Sebastian Vettel's in Brazil as well. Is he, Helita? That's cool. Anytime Seb's about is good vibes. Anytime. That man, I really, really hope Seb finds a way back into the sport in some kind of governing body, in some kind of team management, in some kind of role. And I think Formula One would be very silly to not pursue him, because I think that would be, you'd really get the fans on side with something like that. Seb knows what he's talking about. He's been through this experience, but also he's learned a lot outside of the car. He's got a lot of, I think he's got a lot of very progressive views, and I'd like to see Seb, do his thing and help keep the sport alive for another 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, however long it may be. Seb in the GPDA would be phenomenal. Absolutely. Seb as a permanent F1 steward would be a shout, DJJ. Absolutely. It would be a shout. I think permanent stewards, you definitely need a strong driver contingent in there. And then, permanent stewards, it'd be a great shout. Of course he would. That goes without saying. But would he want to do it? We will see. Have you seen that Freddie Slater's going to be an Audi Junior? Is that true, Harry? Freddie Slater Audi. Because Freddie Slater, I tell you, if you've not heard of Freddie Slater, you probably will in like 5 years' time. Because he is rapid. He is absolutely rapid. Audi and McLaren could soon join. I don't think it's confirmed. McLaren hoping to beat Audi to the signing of Freddie Slater. I'm just kind of paraphrasing a few articles I'm seeing. Yeah, Freddie Slater looks absolute mustard. He looks quality. But we will see. Will anyone pick him up? Remains to be seen. But yeah, those are the driver standings, with 20 rounds of 24 done so far this season. And then the team standings, this of course is a big fight between Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull. 10 points splitting those three teams. 4 P2, big points and big money. But particularly for that P6 battle. Again, Racing Bull's leading that at the moment, ahead of Aston Martin, 72 to 69. Then Haas on 62. Then Sauber on 60. If Aston really dropped to 7th, is this a Lomo moment? Or is I'm actually like, I just assumed that, they are. I just thought Aston was still 6th. That's crazy. That's crazy work, how poorly that's gone for them. And basically, Lance scored all his points in the first. In fact, I've got to look that up, because I'm sure Lance bagged all his points this year in the first few races. Hang on, just give me a second. I'll find this interesting, right? So where's Lance? 1, 2. Okay, he had a bit of a run. Oh yeah, Hungary, Netherlands. He scored points back to back. Okay, fair. That's actually not true. And then he scored Points in the first 2 weekends, then nothing until Silverstone, and then back-to-back in Hungary and Netherlands. I'm just waffling. But there you go. That's what I do. That's literally what you sign up for. Okay, you don't have to sign up for anything. You subscribe, which costs you nothing, which is a reminder to subscribe because it costs you nothing. And you can like the stream, and you can interact with it, and you watch it through to the end as well, because that's the big thing now with YouTube. Watch it to the end. Watch time enables it to be pushed out, and then I can buy Minton good dog food. Basically, I'm using my dog to emotionally manipulate you, shamelessly. Absolute shameless. But yes, these are the team standings. Anyway, as much as that is interesting. Right, cool. Back to full screen. We're 16 minutes in. Don't think this is going to be a long one. We're going to be on it. We're going to be concise. We're going to be to the point. And something I do want to talk about, as a graphic designer, used to be my job. Now I still do it with my YouTube stuff, it scratches that itch, which is nice, is that Williams have got a rebrand going on, not enforced yet, from next season onwards. And I kind of like it. Be called the Williams F1 team, going back to Williams. It was Williams Racing, is Williams Racing currently. It used to be Williams F1 team. It's going to go back to that. And that logo is a hark back, that word mark is a hark back to the Williams logo of old, with the little kind of 1 built into the W. I love it. I think it's great. I think this is a perfect example of taking you from your archive and creating something that it feels so much more ownable and dynamic than the existing logo. It just has a lot more character. And it will be called the Atlassian Williams F1 team again, instead of Atlassian Williams Racing, which it is right now. So that confirms Atlassian will be staying on for next year. And then the golf thing is because they're doing a special edition golf livery as well for this weekend. We've not seen the full thing. That's just a little... I would have shown you the full thing if we have it, but we don't have it yet. They'll probably see it later today because Brazilian time, they're behind relative to right now. So yeah, I'm loving it. I think it's a big W. Let's actually give a little poll. So, thoughts on Williams rebrand? Is it a banger? Is it a clanger? Or is it just mid? I guess I'll give you those 3 options. For me, Williams, way better. Well done. Grazie ragazzi, excellent work. Now deliver Alex Albon a championship winning car in 2026 and we can all be happy. Okay, that's all I asked for, William. I'm not asking for much. That's all I'm asking. And also, really embrace that bright blue, because I love that bright blue. Bright blue, white. That livery in Austin, certified banger. Absolute worldie. Loved it. It was a hark back to their 2002 Williams, which was a beautiful car then. The livery works on this car now. Just blue and white. Lean into that. You've got little hints of orange in the Golf. The blue works with Atlassian as well. You don't need any more than that. That's enough, you know? Love it. 76% of you think it's a banger, Williams rebrand. 23% of you think it's mid. Basically the same. 1%. One of you was like, I'm going to be different. I'm going to go clanger. Just to mean that there's 1%. Shame on you. Whoever did that, shame on you. I can't find out who you are. You're lucky. That is a threat. That is a threat. So yeah, Williams rebrand. Lovely jubbly. Love to see it. Anything else? Anything else that we need to talk about before we get into bangers and clangers predictions? I don't think there's any particular massive bits of news that... well, I mean, I guess it's news. Congratulations, Charles Leclerc, on your engagement. He proposed to his girlfriend, which is cool, as a married man. Well done, Charles. And commiserations, Matt Gallagher. I still thought you had a chance, but not to be in the end. I don't think there's much else. I think we should just talk about bangers and clangers, shouldn't we? I think we should kind of just get onto that, shouldn't we? Just wanted to flex being married. Any opportunity, Tina, and I'll flex it. Don't you worry. Right, cool. Excellent. Let's go pre-race then. And let's start with bangers and clangers for the 2025 Sao Paulo Grand Prix. What do I think? What do you think? Starting with me, of course. Who's going to win the race? Who's going to be on that top step of the podium on Sunday? Not so much talking about the sprint here. This is a focus on the Sunday Grand Prix, where the real points come. And I'm going a little bit different, a little bit left field. Am I going Max? No. Am I going Lando? No. Am I going Oscar? No. Because why not? I think if anyone can capitalise from chaos, it's George Russell. So I'm going with him. In the Mercedes, I mean, he was leading at one point last year, wasn't he, in the race? And if we get a bit of dicey weather, I can see George throwing a bit of a spanner in the works with the old championship fight and sticking it on and winning. He's got a good record around here. I'm going George, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Exactly, Hilly. This is where his championship challenge begins. Max, Lando, Oscar, all DNF. George Russell wins the sprint and the main race, and all of a sudden he's in this championship fight. It's guaranteed it's going to happen. George 100% win in Vegas as well. Josh, you're right. In Brazil, yeah, why not? In Vegas, he's going to win as well. So there you go. Right, it's confirmed. George is going to win it all. It's happening. It's done. It's happening. So yeah, me, George Russell, race win. But what about you? 634 of you voted. Sorry for not posting the poll a little bit earlier. I should have posted it on Monday, but I was so head down doing my video. My Bottas video about his 2018 season, which if you haven't watched it, go and watch it, okay? Because I think that's a great video. And yeah, I forgot to post the poll until this morning. So thank you for voting if you have. If you haven't or didn't see it, follow me on Twitter at TOMMO'S and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and you'll see a community post with the poll before all of these streams, so you can get involved as well. So 634 votes, which is still a lovely sample size. And your race winner is Max Verstappen, 57% of the vote. Lando Norris, 24% of the vote. Oscar Piastri, 9%. And Lewis Hamilton, fair play. Lewis, home away from home is Brazil. He loves it around there. He's an honorary citizen as well. Always a good vibe with Lewis in Sao Paulo. He gets 4% of the vote. But yeah, most of you think Max is going to get it done. He still needs to rely on McLaren's having bad time. And I think he needs it to rain. Really, Max needs it to rain. Otherwise, I think he's just asking a bit too much, in my opinion. But you never know. Stranger things have absolutely happened. Absolutely happened. Then, banger driver. And actually, I think he's kind of overdue a bit of a banger, because he's not been great as of late. And I'll know better than anyone, because it's Alex Albon. He's been dicey recently. You know, not been a solid weekend for a little bit too long for my liking, but I think he bounces back in Brazil. They were strong in qualifying around here last year. I think that Williams is going to go well around the certain characteristics that come with Interlagos. Alex Albon, banger driver. You heard it here first. Not biased at all. Not biased at all. Never, ever. How dare you make such an accusation? So banger driver for me, Alex. Banger driver for you, Lewis Hamilton. 20% of the vote. Love to see it. 16% of the vote for Max Verstappen. 11% of the vote for Gabriel Bortoleto, otherwise known as Bortoleto. And 8% for Oscar Piastri. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Surprised Oscar got that 8%. Obviously, form's been in the toilet a bit recently, isn't it? But some of that's track specific. Absolutely. He put it on pole. Did he? Yeah, he put it on pole in the sprint last year in the dry conditions, and then obviously gave Lando the win because Lando was technically in the championship fight, blah, blah, blah. So, well, I think Oscar will definitely be competitive again. I don't think this is a slump. I think it was a minor blip, and I think he'll be back. But yeah, 8% of the vote for Oscar Piastri. There you go. But Lewis takes the dub, 20% of the vote. Fingers crossed he has a blinding weekend. We need to see him on the podium this year, because it's been a painful year for Lewis. Been a painful year for Ferrari again. I'm sure you're just used to the pain by now, and he's a Fossey watching. Tough times. Right, clanger driver. I've gone Liam Lawson. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think the Racing Bulls are going to do that great this weekend. And I've got a bit more belief in Hadjar's potential and ability. So I've gone Liam. No real reasons, to be honest. I've got to pick someone. And you've gone Lando. 20% of the vote. 13% Lance Stroll. 13% Oscar Piastri. 7% Andrea Kimi Antonelli. So 33% of you have gone with one of the McLaren drivers. 20% of you have gone Lando. 13% Oscar. I mean, look, Lando was, P2 in sprint quali last year and P1 in normal quali last year. And I don't think really anyone, some of this is just overdone Norris hate. Okay, it's just the way it is. I don't think anyone trying to seriously speak about Lando Norris can doubt his optimum quali pace. For me, I think, I think he's got a slight edge on Oscar over a lap if they're both on it. But Lando is more liable to mistakes, but he's way more experienced, and I think maybe that experience is starting to pay dividends at this part of the season, perhaps. So he struggled in the race, Dutchman. I agree with that. In the wet conditions, he went off, didn't he, on the red flag restart. He had a couple of moments. He didn't look particularly comfortable in the rain, especially compared to Max. But if it stays dry, Lando's got a superb chance. If it's wet, I mean, I wouldn't back him or Oscar, to be honest. And that's where I think maybe George, maybe Charles, maybe Max, maybe Lewis, maybe Fernando make their star quality shine, So yeah, you've gone Clanger driver Norris. Banger team Mercedes for me. I think they will give George the equipment that he can win this Grand Prix. I do. I actually do believe that. I absolutely do believe that. I will probably be wrong, but there you go. You miss 100% shots you don't take. And then your banger team is Ferrari. Again, you've gone Ferrari again, which I don't know why you keep going Ferrari banger, because I'm not sure what you're seeing. I mean, they're so unpredictable. They were decent in Mexico, absolutely, last time out, but they could quite easily be down in the dumps again. So, I mean, fair play. I rate the delusion. I rate it. 17% Red Bull, though not far behind. 14% Mercedes, 9% Williams. And we are once again going to collectively pray for a good Yuki Tsunoda weekend, please. It needs to come. Please, I beg. Come on, Yuki. Please. 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 9% Williams. Did I say it already? If I didn't, then I've just said it then. 19 Ferrari, 17 Red Bull, 14 Mercedes, 9 Williams for your banger team. And then finally, Clanger team. I've gone Racing Bulls. I said it earlier. I feel like where Haas have brought developments to the car, they've improved. I think Aston Martin around a track like Interlagos can probably turn it on and do all right. Even Alpine, I know they're rubbish, but this might suit their car characteristics where it's not very, power unit centric around here. And Sauber, I mean, Bortoletto home field advantage. I could see Racing Bulls having a really difficult weekend. I can make arguments for all those other teams around the back having a better weekend. Is, I guess, what I mean more than anything else. So I've gone Racing Bulls for Clanger, and you've gone Alpine. Of course you have, because it's just the easy vote, isn't it? 30% of the vote for Alpine, 13% for McLaren, 13% for Aston Martin, and 9% for Ferrari. Scuderia Ferrari. So yeah, actually, we've gone entirely different in our predictions. And if you want to see who's right, then watch the stream on... Actually, what time is the race on Sunday? It's pretty late, isn't it? Hang on, let me just check my calendar. So Sunday... Oh, it starts at 5, actually. It's not too bad. Okay, well, I'll probably do my stream late Sunday evening, UK time. Anyway, the post-race, and that's where we will reflect on these bangers and these clangers and see who was right and who was wrong. Usually you, I'll be honest. But it's pretty close. Most of the time, it's pretty close. Okay, excellent. Lovely, happy days, jubbly. 30 minutes done. Anything else to talk about Hadita, Yuki IndyCar rumours. I did see an article talking about Yuki potentially being linked to IndyCar. I mean, look, I said it before, I say it again. I hope they stick with him for next year. I think consistency is what that team needs, in my opinion. But also, with so much unknown around the seat, I think Yuki has to be considering his options, surely. Like, that's the pragmatic thing to do as a driver, as my voice continues to break. So, would I be surprised if he's had conversations with an IndyCar team? Absolutely not. He should be. Because if he doesn't get that Red Bull seat, it doesn't even look like he'd probably get a Racing Bull. They wouldn't put him back into a Racing Bulls, would they? Like, that seems completely out of the question with Lindblad. So I think those rumours are probably based on some kind of truth that he is considering his options. And I imagine for Yuki, it's like, yeah, you try and get the F1 seat, and if you can't get the F1 seat, then what's the next best thing? I guess IndyCar. Could he take a reserve at Aston Martin? Again, it depends on the Honda relationship. I don't know. I just really want him to make it work, and I really hope Red Bull give him the shot that. And I think it's pragmatic for all parties involved, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Large man, sorry I'm late. Please forgive me. Don't worry. I'll restart. I will restart just for you. That transition didn't work as it should have, because it's. Welcome to TOMMO'S Race CHINWAG, your favourite Formula 1. Oh, dearie me. What an absolute mare. What an absolute mare. First time here live, Chase. Well, welcome, Chase. Thank you for coming along. Nice pandering your profile picture. Love to see it. Love to see it. But I can't show you Minton. He's asleep downstairs, you know. Meant to be taking him for a walk. He's got to wake up soon, but he's downstairs. I'll bring Minton for the post-race. There's the deal, right? Post-race, you get some Minton content. Pre-race, no. Sorry, not this time. How do you think Lando handles the pressure of being first in the World Drivers' Championship? To be honest, Dan, I think actually, if Lando goes on to win this, he will probably look back at last year and almost being, introduced to this whole title fight dynamic quite fondly, and be like, actually, I'm quite glad I went through that experience. And also, Lando's not led for like most of the championship, and the consensus, it feels like Oscar is struggling, and Oscar's downtrending performances has allowed Lando and Max to become factors in this championship now, more so than Lando doing and he's been doing a great job, don't get me wrong, but I think it's more Oscar struggling than it is Lando stepping up massively. Because I think actually Lando, once he's comfortable in a car, and he's still not fully, like he'll say it himself, but he's getting there. I think he'll be better equipped than he has been at any other point to deal with the pressure. I think it will be annoying that Max is there and is a factor, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to. I've backed Piastri throughout. I predicted him to finish ahead of Lando in my pre-season predictions, and I've predicted him for the title for basically the whole year. Once we realised Charles Leclerc was clearly not going to win it anyway. And yeah, I think there's a blip that he's gone through, but also I'm not nowhere near ready to count Piastri out, as much as it feels very easy to do so. He's been so consistent for so much of the year. If he can just find that and go to a track in Brazil where he put it on pole in sprint quali last year, and it stays dry, Oscar's absolutely still in this fight. Absolutely. No question. And of course, yeah, Qatar. Oscar is very quick around Qatar. We'll see. Time will tell. The Kate Escape. Watching live for the first time with my son. Could I get a shout out for him? His name is Dexter. Yes. Dexter. When your parents tell you to go to bed, Dexter, listen to them. Go to bed. And eat your greens. There you go. Words of wisdom. Right. I'm going to wrap it, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time. I really do appreciate you all for coming along, being here, supporting what I do. And fingers crossed we get a certified banger Grand Prix this weekend. Sprint race, which means if we have a good Saturday sprint, I might jump on another live and do an extra little sprint chinwag. It justified it last time out. Will it justify it this time out? We will see. Probably if it's a bit of a stinker, if it's a bit of a boring one, probably won't. But if it deserves it, I will be here with my different changing colours background and we will talk all about it. Don't you worry. Simon, you just joined. Sorry, Simon. Sorry. Next time. But yes, thank you all for coming. Once again, appreciate you'll take the time. Thank you, Dexter, as well. Big up, Dexter. And Lotus, Tina, Lou, Famke, Daniel, Halita, Priest, Dan, Al, Rainer, Josh, NK McFrin, Patrick, and the rest of you. My name's Tomo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.